What is going on? It's Alex coming back at you with another video, and today we're going to be breaking down the best and worst rookie performances from week number 5 of the NFL season. If you are new, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Go to that link tree and be able to get to anywhere you want in just 2 clicks. I make content like this every single week, and if you love mock drafts, this is the place for you. But let's get on into it, starting out with our stars of the week. And it's, of course, going to start out with the guy who we always thought was going to be an unbelievable stud, actually, to be fair. Adrian Taylor Demerson was somebody who I said, if he did not have his potential jogging concerns on the field, had the X factor to be the best safety in the class, or one of. And it looks like he's doing a fantastic job at that. I do love players that when they get to higher level competition, these issues in terms of sometimes not putting 100% effort do not end up persisting. And for him, it has not. So good job on Adrian Taylor Demerson. 91 defensive grade, a defensive stop. 3 targets, 1 reception for 3 yards, and 2 pass breakups. Obviously, the big star of the week right here. Fantastic performance from a player who has unreal potential and is already starting to see it. So that Budda Baker mentorship is really starting to kick in. Next, we're going to talk about Edgerrin Cooper. He popped up week 1, and then he's had, some fluctuations there, but he's been really solid overall there for the Packers. He ended up being my linebacker 1 by a good margin, and he's now graded out with an 85 defensive grade, 2 pressures, 2 defensive stops, 1 target, 1 reception, 7 yards. So, again, really well-balanced performance right there, making an impact both in the run as well as in terms of the pass rush. And again, not being a liability in pass coverage is super duper key. So a very well-rounded performance from Edgerrin, who, he's doing a fantastic job. Personally, I still feel like the Eagles should have went after him, but I digress. Brian Thomas Jr. finally starts getting targeted. Guess what? He ends up going off 8 targets, 5 receptions, 122 yards, and of course that beautiful touchdown that populated your Twitter feeds, and just somebody who was a perfect fit for Jacksonville. That was the dream pick for Jacksonville, and finally Trevor's being able to target him more, or maybe he just is targeting him more, and we're seeing the fruits of that labor ending up paying off. Great job by both the Jaguars as well as Brian Thomas for at least being able to make a very, very big contribution with their first round pick. But of course, Tyrone Tracy, who's been on this list multiple times on the losers side of the table, because in small production, I didn't think he's been doing a great job, and someone who I have a very, very high opinion of. Watching back all the Purdue games from last year when I ended up falling in love with Marcus Bowe, Tyrone Tracy was somebody who I ended up loving more and more and more. But 18 carries, 129 yards, only 1 missed tackle force, which did make me consider not putting him as one of the stars. But when he had to start, he ended up playing very big. 1 reception on 2 targets for a yard as well. I mean, when you have to step up as a rookie this early on and you put up an over 100-yard performance, I'm going to give you credit. And he showed amazing vision as well. You guys know that breakaway run he had. Just being able to navigate after the line of scrimmage is a very, very, very big trait to have if you're going to be successful in the NFL at a lower value position like running back. So great job by Tyrone Tracy there. Now let's talk about the other guys. So this is, of course, just like my my stock up, stock down list, my stock report. This is going to be also a top 14 and a bottom 11. So there are plenty of more players. I grade every single rookie that actually plays week in, week out. So I actually have a full sheet that's every single rookie. So I've graded all of them. I selected the top 14 and the bottom 11. So feel free to give those guys some shouts. But starting out with Brock Bowers, 12 targets, 8 receptions, 97 yards, and a touchdown. I was debating between him and Brian Thomas for being able to be on the winners list, or at least the stars of the week. Evan Williams has been fantastic. 81 defensive grade, a defensive stop, 6 targets, 3 receptions, 19 yards, 2 pass breakups. Another big candidate for the stars of the week. He's somebody that I personally didn't have an all-22 grade on. I regret it. That's why I've also been a lot more diligent about trying to get more and more players graded in all 22 this year than ever before, because players like Evan Williams should not be slipping through the cracks for me. So I'll take it on the chin. I should have done a better job at that, but Green Bay got themselves a damn good one, so good job on them. Jalen Charlies is next. He's been actually doing a fantastic job. Another player, defensive back, that I did not have an all 22 grade on, but transitioning to linebacker too. I don't know how comfortable I would be with my understanding of the exact traits that I'd want from a safety to transition to linebacker. However, we'll see what happens with some of these guys in due time. 85 defensive grade, 2 defensive stops, 2 targets, 2 receptions, 2 yards. Good job on him, though. I mean, he's been consistently one of the top performers, if not the top performer on the Colts defense. A lot of people are saying an off-ball linebacker is going to be super key for them. It looks like they know what to look for as the draft progresses. So I honestly don't think it's going to be an early round need, but maybe round 3, you can start to justify it. Next, we have Caleb Williams, quarterback out of Chicago. We love that. He's on this list. He's not a star of the week, even though he threw 300 yards, 29 throws, 20 completions, 304 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. That sounds to me like a star of the week. But one a big-time throw, which was the big DJ Moore throw. I love that. And then 2 turnover-worthy plays. I saw a throw to Keenan Allen across the middle that should have been picked. For me, I want a positive or at least a net zero turnover-worthy play to big-time throw ratio. Like, I really do want to see it being better rather than potentially more risky. Then we got Tanner Bortolini next, center for Indianapolis. He's been doing a fantastic job. Honestly, I was worried about his anchor, and then this is a system that keeps their offensive linemen moving forward. I do appreciate that a lot. They do have a lot in place to be able to mitigate said issues. And I mean, even with guys, Bernard Ryman, for example, he had some anchor issues there at Central Michigan, and they've done a fantastic job being able to mitigate that. So good job on Indianapolis, a place that really knows how to get the best out of their own linemen. 81 pass blocking grade and only 1 pressure allowed. Very consistent, very solid also in the run game. He has showed a lot of promise there as well. Continuing on, we got Jarrian Jones, who's been on both sides of this list, but this week he is on a winner's side. 80 defensive grade, 1 target, 0 receptions, and a pass breakup. Very good consistency there from somebody who has had those very high earning or very high giving up weeks, so to speak. Jordan Whittington's been fantastic there for the Rams. Just someone who dealt with a lot of health issues at Texas, if I'm not mistaken. I just remember that was the big thing, but he always came up big in big moments. And then, of course, once he went to the Rams, we kind of know that even guys like Demarcus Robinson and such, the little name players are actually the ones who make very big impacts in this offense. Big testament to Sean McVay, 7 receptions on 10 targets for 89 yards. Jalen Wright is next. He is not Jacksonville. He is for Miami, but I digress. Who gives a shit? It's just a graphic. 13 carries, 86 yards, 4 missed tackles forced with an 88 run grade. Just bottom line, very consistent. He's been on this list before, and he'll probably continue being on this list going forward. Then you got Bo Nix, 27 throws, 19 completions, 206 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 2 big-time throws, 0 turnover-worthy plays, 8 carries for 9 yards, a rushing touchdown, and a missed tackle forced. He did better, in my opinion, than Caleb Williams did, just because of the fact that he took the big-time throws. He also ended up having a touchdown drop by Troy Franklin. We'll talk about that in a minute, but I think that he did a fantastic job. Regardless, there's no need to... Comparison's the thief of joy. No need to compare him and Caleb Williams. Both of them had a good week. Let's celebrate them both. Mike Sainristil is last on our Stars of the Week, or Winners of the Week, I guess, because we have stars before this. 2 targets, 4 receptions, 18 yards, or 2 receptions on 4 targets for 18 yards, a pass breakup, but here's also the key. He played boundary corner, and he had 4 defensive stops. Again, someone who has been on the other side of this notable amount of times for someone who is still struggling, but this is a big step up for him. I'm hoping this is going to be the consistent Mike Sainristil, because Mike, he is an absolute baller. Not surprised, though, with the 4 defensive stops, because he's an absolute beast. Olu Fashanu, once again, is on this list as the dud of the week. 4 pressures allowed, 52 pass blocking grade. So far, he just has not played a good game, in my opinion. Just a ton of potential for him, but putting someone who is raw at right tackle, like out of position, just not something that I really think is a great idea. And then there are 2 tackles that I'm going to be mentioning in just a second that were raw offensive tackles put in positions that they did not play last year. That is Blake Fisher as well as Tyler Guyton. We'll get to Tyler Guyton in a second, but starting out with Blake Fisher, 5 pressures on 5 pressures in a 33 pass blocking grade. Simply unacceptable. He has been very consistently not good at all. And it's just because of the fact that he's very raw. He belongs as a right tackle. Some people think he even be a guard, but He was somebody who coming in had the high-end flashes and very well may end up being a quality tackle. But forcing him this early to get reps, it's very dangerous, especially when you end up putting him out of position at left tackle. JD Bertrand is next. Again, this is not in order. Like, this is just, I have winners and losers, and this is going to be, pretty much who I ended up selecting, right? It's not like Blake Fisher's the worst, and then you go down to Graham Barton, who's the least. Just got to put that out there. 38 reps. He ended up getting a 28 defensive grade. 7 receptions on 8 targets and 48 yards allowed. So just bottom line, a lack of efficiency on a large amount of reps. Again, 28 defensive grade. Doesn't matter. It's just not good enough. You need to at least make some form of impact, especially when you got guys like Jalen Charlie's ending up going and getting 85 defensive grade as a safety transition to linebacker. A true linebacker taken, I believe, in the 5th round should be doing a little bit more. But Nate Wiggins is next. He's been oscillating between winners and losers, and that's okay because Nate is that style of player. He's physical, he's athletic, he's also small, so mismatches can happen. This week, 30 defensive grade, 4 targets, 2 receptions, 51 yards, and a pass breakup. So someone who I debated not putting on here, but I have a very high standard for Nate Wiggins, who is presumptively the number 1 corner there for Baltimore going forward. Jatavian Sanders is next. Almost was the dud of the week if it weren't for Olu Fashanu being consistently cheeks. But he ended up having 5 targets for 3 receptions, 13 yards, as well as 2 drops. That's the kicker. I mean, like 13 yards, there's only so many targets that can go around to players. Like, okay, it is what it is. I wanted to put him on this list for that. Even for 1 drop, I would debate it. But 2 drops, like that really is not good. I mean, you had damn near as many receptions as you did drops. Or opposite way. You had a little bit more in terms of receptions, but drops. But being that close, not a fan of it. Tyler Guyton's next. He's been perennially on these lists. Unfortunately, again, it's a raw tackle who's shown unbelievable potential in the preseason, but he's somebody who is very raw, who is now in a position that he is not comfortable in, and he's going up against polished NFL edge rushers. And those NFL edge rushers had the 2 highest defensive grades this week, so we'll give him a little bit of slack, but 36 pass blocking grade, 2 pressures allowed. Bottom line, at least put up a little bit better of a fight. And, he's still someone who has so much room to grow. Far from a bust, but again, I was very worried when the Cowboys ended up taking him in the first, just saying, hey, man, you're guaranteeing the fact that Tyler Smith can't play tackle. But, it is what it is. Tyler Guyton, I do have faith in him. It's just going to take a little bit longer than maybe expected. Tommy Eichenberg is next. He's been also very oftenly on this list. This dude just gets in for a few reps a game and is just always at the bottom of the defensive grade list. But regardless, he allowed 2 receptions on 3 targets for 23 yards and a touchdown in his limited stint on the field. He's just been consistently a bottom feeder in terms of the actual overall production there for Las Vegas. Hoping that turns around, but unfortunately it doesn't seem like it's going to. Troy Franklin, wide receiver for Denver, ended up having a pretty dismal week. He ended up having 1 reception for 20 yards on 2 targets. And the thing is, he had a drop. But you might just say, okay, well, whoop-de-doo. He had, 2 targets. 1 of them was dropped. Like, is that really a bottom 10 performance? The thing is, the drop was atrocious. It was a touchdown drop. And he was wide open, blown coverage by Jacorian Bennett. And he just ended up dropping it. So very, very disappointing there for Troy Franklin. There's a lot of positive things about Troy, but over the offseason process and then including into the regular season, there's certainly been reasons to feel a little bit less comfortable about his game. Continuing on, Jack Sparrows-Johnson. Sucks to see this. I never thought that, honestly, he'd be on a stock down, list. But, yeah, 4 pressures allowed, 39 pass blocking grade. For an interior offensive lineman, I don't see it very often that guards allow 4 pressures on a consistent basis unless you're on the New England Patriots. But I know that it's not the easiest spot to play in, especially since you don't have a consistent quarterback. I know that the quarterback ended up actually getting subbed out. So again, understandable, but you got to be better than that. You got to be better than that, especially when we were like saying, oh, what the hell is wrong with you guys at the start of the year when you weren't starting Jackson Powers Johnson. Definitely was like, oh, okay. To be fair, JPJ did get a fringe starter grade for me, but there are also some other guys I put fringe starter who are doing really damn good, so I can't really say shit. But continuing on, Beanie Bishop. He ended up having a pass breakup this game in a defensive stop, but 42 defensive grade, 8 targets, 6 receptions, 90 yards. Just simply put, good job on the pass breakup and the defensive stop. Be more consistent. Then we got Graham Barton, and especially in a loss too. I know the defense, Beanie Bishop's not the reason we lost. And the offensive inefficiency was the reason we lost. But continuing on, Graham Barton is ending us off. He had a 45 pass blocking grade, but a 37 run blocking grade, allowing 1 pressure. Just not good in terms of the overall efficiency, both in the run game as well as the pass. But it's okay. This is just a 1-week performance, and that's why we give these guys a shot every single week to make it on each other's lists. There is nothing that is cumulative about this unless you are a dud of the week or a star of the week. That's the only thing I care about. If you end up continually being a dud of the week, you're going to get exposed for it. If you're going to be continually a star of the week, I'm going to positively expose you for that and give you all the praise that you deserve. But that's going to be the video. Thank you so much for watching. Love you. See you on the far side. Peace.